Now, before we get started, I need to talk about the title. I know that hate is a strong word, but remember, I'm talking about the characters, not the author, not the webtoon, not even the fact that the characters are in the webtoon. It's an amazing thing to have such strong feelings toward these characters. Any form of media that makes us feel things is amazing. These characters are good at making us feel bad, making us feel angry at them. And I wanted to know why we feel such strong feelings of dislike, distrust, anger towards some of these characters. Please remember that before commenting that I hate these webtoons. Thank you. A couple of weeks ago, I was reading my Saturday Webtoons. On Friday, you know how they update? It doesn't matter. I was reading my Saturday Webtoons, which include Blue Chair, Random Chat, and Miss Abbott and the Doctor. When I was reading Random Chat, I felt not pleased. Let me explain. Random Chat is about your stereotypical outcast, the loser student who has so much free time that he uses Random Chat, an app that pairs you up with someone random, so you can just talk to them. Our main character is paired with Sung Ah, a popular girl in his class, and it shows the webtoon of them becoming friends. However, while he might know who she is, Junwoo has lied about who he was. So when she random chats with her mysterious friend, she doesn't know that she's chatting with him. The story goes to some interesting places, dealing with bullies and the idea of self-worth. However, what really got me was this episode, where Junwoo isn't invited by his new group of friends, which includes Sung-ah and other people. His other friend then drags him to where they are, and he runs into Sung-ah. She invites him to hang with his other friends, but random chats him. You know that guy, right? The quiet one? I'm not being delusional. I think he likes me. I didn't call him on purpose because I didn't want it to be weird, but he followed me to the beach. It's kinda scary. Then she turns around smiling and telling him to hurry up. So I proceeded to read my Miss Abbott and the Doctor and call it a night. But that moment stuck with me for some time. I don't know why that moment made me feel upset. I wouldn't exactly say I started to hate this character, but I wasn't fond of her anymore. But I'll be honest, I'm not sure why. You have to understand that she's not in the wrong. It would be a little weird if someone you thought liked you was at the same place you were at the exact same time. She had gone through something similar before, so she's not exactly wrong by being a little scared of this situation, but it still stuck with me. I wanted to understand why I didn't like this character's actions right here. And the best way to do that is with research, or with a sample size. There are a multitude of well-known and let's say disliked characters. So I have collected 3 characters, each of which are very much disliked. I have talked about 2 of these characters, and the third one is pretty well known. Oh, and if you're worried about spoilers, then check the description. I put the webtoons that I'm spoiling down there. If not, let's get started with a character whose hatred is the most basic to understand. Lore Olympus's Apollo. Now, a few things before starting. I've already talked in depth about Apollo. You can check the iCard right here. But more importantly, Apollo's actions are the only one that seem really upsetting. Mainly because it involves sexual trauma. So if themes of sexual trauma may upset you, then skip to this time here. Anyways, Apollo is more annoying than anger-inducing when first introduced. Just little things, like how he treats Persephone, his sister, his friends, how he feels entitled to everything. But after he apologizes, he's annoying, sure, but seemingly harmless. However, when everyone is asleep, Apollo goes into Persephone's room and pressures her into sleeping with him. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is a rape scene, which is obvious why we hate this person. It's a simple reason to hate this character. It's 100% reasonable. However, our next character isn't as obvious. Unordinary's Elaine. Unordinary, to boil it down in simple terms, is a story about a guy who doesn't have a power, goes to school where the only thing that matters is your power, but, plot twist, he does have powers. In fact, he's probably one of the strongest ones in the school. But the first part is important. he pretends not to have powers. And because of that, he's bullied a lot. Practically every person in the school hates him or just doesn't care enough about him to help. And it starts as early as when he enters the school. After his first class ends, we see that the first person to come up to him is Elaine. "Hi John, I'm Elaine. Welcome to Wellston. How's your first day so far?" "Wonderful. So which school did you transfer from?" "Well, you've come to the right place. So John, what kind of ability do you have?" And when John says he's crippled, she kinda freaks out. "What did you just say?" "I can't believe this! Don't touch me! Gross. I can't believe I spent all that time talking to someone like you." Cool, yeah, that's not great. And that's a good reason to not like someone, right? Right? Well, it seems a little more complicated than that. Because if Elaine is hated because she pushed John to the ground and called him gross, then we're giving everyone else the benefit of the doubt. Why? Well, let's take a head count. All of the students bully John. Eisen once lured him into a fake interview, and when Eisen started to get aggressive about his questions, John got upset, and Eisen almost broke his wrist. Blake shot a laser beam at John's head. Arlo, to do a quick run through of what he's done, isolated John, dug through his past that he wanted to forget, broke his phone, befriended him, and then tricked him into going with him to an isolated area where he ambushed him with 2 other students about his past, and Serafina sent him to the infirmary over a slice of cake. The point I'm trying to make is that if the reason that no one likes Elaine is because how she treated John, then we should basically hate everyone. So let's take a look at her other major action. When she turns Serafina in for having an illegal book. Elaine is a snitch, which is seemingly why people don't like her. She turned in one of her good friends because someone asked her to. I'll come back to Unordinary at another moment, but let's travel to a webtoon that I have yet to talk about. Tower of God. So many of you have requested this webtoon, and it is long. I'm only on season 2, mainly because I have other things to do, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, to simplify, season 1, our main character Bam enters a tower because he's following the one person he cares about, Rachel. So when he finally meets her, it seems like everything is fine. He'd like to travel the tower with her, but she has other plans. During this test, she betrays him. Rachel wants to climb the tower, so after Bam protects her, she pushes him into the sea, expecting him to die. Okay, so what do a sexual predator, a snitch, and a backstabber have in common? While it might be difficult to say for certainty, I think I know. There are 2 themes here. The theme of betrayal and the theme of hypocrisy. Betrayal is easy. Rachel betrayed someone who deeply cared about her, for her own good. Elaine betrayed her roommate and a close friend because someone asked her to. And while Apollo's betrayal isn't technically a story betrayal, it's a narrative one. When he betrayed our idea of a bad person, of someone we thought couldn't go worse, of someone who pressured a young goddess into sleeping with him. But if betrayal was the only thing, then a lot more characters would be hated. I mentioned before that I would come back to Unordinary, but more specifically to the character of Arlo. Now Arlo is also strongly disliked. In fact, he's given a fun community name. But what's more surprising is the amount of hate that Arlo gets. Compared to the other characters, Arlo does get hate, but you don't have to look far to see how different Elaine and Arlo are treated. Go to my Elaine video and check the comments. I wouldn't call it messed up, but you guys certainly need to chill a little. Meanwhile, Arlo is blamed in like every one of my John videos, but he isn't burned to the stake. Which is the other side of this, hypocrisy. And I guess when I say hypocrisy, I mean like lying about who you are and stuff like that. Well, just let me explain. Arlo isn't a good person, but he doesn't pretend to be someone he's not. He sticks to his convictions. He treats everyone the same. He treats the hierarchy like it's supposed to be. Elaine, meanwhile, flip-flops so much that I can't think of a good analogy. But you do get that point. Elaine is sweet to John before, but when she finds out he doesn't have powers, she freaks out on him. Treats Serafina sweet and kind, but also gives her in. And it's not just her. Rachel gives someone who she was close with for her own good. And Apollo, who believes he's the best and wonderful, treats people like garbage. And like at the beginning, Sung-ah is like them too. Betrays her trust in not only Jung-woo, but also us, and turns around and lies to his face. So that's why we hate or just strongly dislike some Webtoon characters. It's not just betrayal. It's not just lying to their face, it's a mix of both. But if you can think of another reason that could link these characters together, or you want to defend some of these characters, please feel free to. There's going to be a lot of hate in the comments section. But, like always, thank you for watching.